Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Steggink. I'm here today to present to you a little bit more about Co2 Energy. Co2 Energy, it's all about engineering innovation. Because this morning we heard a lot about how to do things, and ideas, maybe even a bit more on the theoretical side. Co2 Energy is all about making things happen. And that's what I'm going to tell you today, because I have to reveal you a little secret. It's not about Eindhoven at all. We are based in Eindhoven, but that's it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do, how we do it, and how we make things happen. First, a little bit about Co2 Energy. We are a European instrument. We are funded by EIT, and up to 2020, 2022, if I may be so blunt, we have a lot of money. But that money has to be invested well. So how do we do that? We do that by empowering every stage of the innovation process. I'll get back to that a little bit later. We do that also by investing in people, technologies, business, especially business. Very important, we are a private-public partnership. I'll get to that a little bit later. So, Co2 Energy. We have 3 business lines. We have education, and also tomorrow you heard it, it's the young children where it starts. Through our education program, we try to educate the leaders for the future. Leaders in innovation and leaders that make, well, actually business happen. Because today's leaders, with all due respect, are not doing it fast enough. Secondly, our product innovation. It's a business line where we try to work together with established companies. We try to form a consortium, and with that consortium we try to do stuff that normally would not happen or would have much more time to actually meet the market. Last but most certainly not least is our business creation business line. This is where we try to help out startups, spin-offs, spin-outs, people in general with very good ideas, with bright minds, but are typically with their product in what is called the valley of death. So the prototype is there, but now, how do they get further? How do they bring things to market? So this is what we do. We try to actually do stuff, because if you do stuff, if you do innovation, then it's really innovation. And if you do innovation, then you really can be sustainable for the future. Our goal, therefore, sustainable energy. That's the, let's say, big goal. However, if you divide that up and make it a bit more chewable, then you can say we actually try to reduce cost in the energy value chain. If you look at that now, you'll see that a lot of cost in that value chain make things impossibly expensive to do for the future. We try to secure energy and safety of supply. Last week it was on national radio in Holland that last year we had 33 minutes of no power in Holland. Can you imagine what that, in one of the finest countries if it comes to supply, what that creates? It's unbelievable. If you are in the city of Amsterdam and you have no power for 33 minutes. Another thing is reducing CO2 emissions. I have to say, it's not only about CO2, it's also about other hazardous emissions. You know, it's all about these emissions, because that also could be seen this morning. There's a direct link between our well-being as human beings and hazardous emissions. So take care of that. Another important thing is European competitiveness. If you look at innovation on a global scale, you'll see that in America and in Asia, where it starts with the academics, it ends at the market. And where we are very good at in Europe is to start with academics, have a patent, and leave that patent on the shelf for years. So that's a thing we have to change. Remove barriers to innovation. We do that by having our own office in Brussels. It was talked about this morning also. You know, legislation. I'm very black and white in legislation. It either helps you or it sets you back a lot. So that's where we try also to have our impact. Well, encourage sustainable growth. It's more clear than ever that there is a business in sustainable growth. So let's make money with that and create jobs. I'll get back to that later. Obviously, we cannot do everything. The things we do, we have put into roadmaps. Because everybody that joins us, you know, we have to be able to help. And a good example is a guy that approached me a year back with a brilliant idea. It was about recycling concrete. Well, in our company, nobody really knows anything about concrete. That would mean that we would invest in such a thing without really knowing what to do. So therefore, these thematic roadmaps are absolutely critical for us because we know everything about it. I'll get back to that a little bit later. I've got a few examples, and I'll tell you how we handle that. What I'd like to show is that we actually practice what we preach. We are a business of our own, although I'm lying a little bit, because we receive funding from EIT, which is a European vehicle. Here in Sweden, for instance, ABB, the university, two universities, KTH and Uppsala and Vattenfall, are our shareholders. And I can promise you, these shareholders, they look at us and they want to see results. They want to see things happen. Because we are a company that is not for dividend, and that means that our shareholders can only make money from us if our value as a company grows. So we have to do things right. It shows a few more of our shareholders, which are research institute, universities, and industry partners. For us, very important, because this is the network which we can give you, which we can give you access to. And that helps in doing things. So for every stage in the innovation journey, we have a product. Keep that in mind. I'll tell you a little bit more about our product innovation. It's a very simple idea. A smaller business, let's say an SME, has a new prototype. It works very well. The last things have to be handled, but you know, it's tough times. We have a crisis that we are getting out of, and it's not easy to get the money. So what do? We shorten the time to market by acting as kind of an intermediary. We try to help out this company by adding partners, usually 3 or more, often a knowledge or research institute, often a commercializing party, and sometimes even the bigger ones in our network. And with that, we do a project. We fund it, and not only in the financial sense. We help it out with knowledge. We help it out with our network, and we also give it money. Money is in the last space. The whole idea is that the project lasts for 3 years, that we can establish intellectual property, because what good would it be that if we invest money in a project, and let's say, and I hope nobody from Siemens is here, but we can use the ABB example probably, but they are very good. What good would it be for a smaller entrepreneur if he has a brilliant idea and he wouldn't be able to patent it or otherwise protect it? You know, if it's the golden egg, protect it. And that's what we do with patents or otherwise. Because if that happens, that entrepreneur can make money. And if he makes money, we are successful as well. So after 3 years, project ready, and usually it takes 2 more years, so in total 5, and then that product is really ready to go to market. Actually make money with it. And these are all products, you saw it a bit before, in our roadmaps, that actually are sustainable products, that actually make it happen to reduce CO2, that actually make living in Europe a lot easier. This is how it works. Prototype, we make the project, we finance it, support it, and success. Very simple. Some ideas. On the left, you see a platform, and you think, what the heck is that doing? Well, in Holland, but also in the rest of Europe, you see a lot of wind parks on the sea. And these wind parks have a big problem because, they keep spinning, and actually the problem is not how much energy they produce, but it's the time they produce the energy. Because we have a lot of power plants in Holland. And if our windmills keep spinning, we have to put these power plants in idle, right? And if a power plant runs in idle, it's even more polluting than what the windmill would bring us in savings. So if you can predict, and if you can make a good combination of wind and know which ones to shut off on land, you can save a lot of CO2. Another one, it's a project handled by our office in Sweden and in Germany. It's a biofuel plant. One of these plants is actually working with very new technology in the sense that it is able to use, well, if I may be so blunt, all kind of crap which would normally land on landfill sites. We are able to dry it out, to get all the chemicals out, use it again, and even leave the burnable stuff, the energy stuff, to make energy of it. This one, it's now erected, and it has a 75% better energy efficiency than almost any other plant of that in the earth. The next one, core power, is a really exciting thing. It's actually a big buoy that floats in the ocean. It has a very long rope attached to it, and by the wave, it goes up and down, and it actually creates energy. I have to be honest, the one on the right is still quite experimental. However, we do it because this might be an answer for the future. So these are a few examples. To give you an idea, at this stage, it's a little bit more than 59. We have 65 patents filed, new patents. And these patents are actually in the market today. We make money of it. 160 partners are engaged. Smaller companies, not the bigger ones, because that's where the money can be made. If you have any questions, by the way, just ask them. The next thing, business creation. Here the situation is a bit different. Here we handle individual companies. Individual, smaller companies with good ideas. Like I mentioned, these people often meet what is called the valley of death, or however you'd like to name it. They have a good idea, they have the prototype, but now they don't have the money or the knowledge or whatever you'd like to make the next step. So what do? We capture that entrepreneur, we try to assess the product. 9 times out of 10 you'll see that the product has to be improved to be market ready. We develop it, we pilot it, we launch it. To go short, once it's launched, you'll see that 9 times out of 10 these companies still need money to grow, to actually become real big or even bigger. Also, we have a very good network for that because, KKR Energy slowly is known to the world, and venture capital companies actually see that our products work, that they have impact, because that's what we want. And we are able then, for the next phase, for the next stage where that company needs money, to engage them and to get them in touch with venture capital companies, angels, or other people that can provide money. Very simple idea, but it works. Give you a few examples. In France, we have a very nice project. I thought I'd had to select something that is a bit more, in the real life of today. It's actually printable photovoltaics. So people don't charge their phones anymore and create peaks and stuff like that. It's just on your backpack. It's very convenient. Another thing is called Project Open Domo. It's artificial intelligence, and that is a very exciting thing. With this small box, and obviously a bit more software, we are able, inside homes, inside buildings, to see what's happening. So that goes a long way. It means that we can actually, after a few days, see in the behavior of the house that somebody is going to the toilet or shaving his beard, because we can actually see that certain spikes in the net are caused, because we see the pattern, by certain appliances in the house. Also, that information is very valuable, because that information can be sent back and can be used by power plants. A last one is in Poland. If you look at a picture from, I've never been that fortunate, but from space, and you see in the middle of the night how much light is going on, you'll see that it's most caused by street lighting. It's absolutely amazing. It's so much energy wasted. It's almost a shame. We've got a very nice project where we censor street lighting, where we can see that that is actually needed, that are people walking there or cars driving, and that it's not just lighting up the sky for nothing. Saves a lot of energy. To this day, 80 startups we have so far. A lot of money invested, and the 17.4 million, it's external money. It's money from venture capitalists. It's not our own money. To keep it a bit short, we also have our education program. Master school, PhD school, and even an executive and postmaster education. Because we think that it is important. 30% of our money goes into education, and it's very hard to earn money back with that. However, by creating brilliant minds for the future, we hope to accelerate things. A few numbers. 280 students so far. As you can imagine, we help those students out with a lot of money, so it's a very wanted program, so a lot of people apply. The good thing, however, is 93% of all these graduates, within half a year, they find a job. And they actually create impact. So, Kick Energy is not only in Eindhoven, it's all over Europe, trying to do things, trying to bring sustainable innovation forward. It's connected with the bigger companies. It's collaborative by bringing these companies, students, small companies together. It's commercial because if you make money with sustainability, then things happen. Who doesn't want to make money? And it's challenging because sometimes we have it wrong, I have to admit. Not everything works, but we do our best. So, one more slide. There's a new call open for innovation projects. So my challenge for you today is to come over and bring me those projects and see if I can help you to bring those projects to market. Questions?
Yes, we have one here. Thanks for an inspiring presentation. We also have the Climate Kick office in Copenhagen, so we are working with them. But I haven't understand about Kick is, do you get return of investment?
Yes, yes.
And how does that work? Do you want to speak a bit about that?
Yes,
the contracts you do with startups.
Usually, well, if you, for education, that's hard to make money, right? Then we have two other business lines. The one is what is called business creation. There we take equity, 10–15% at the max, because we do not want to be, let's say, the main shareholder of these smaller companies. So that's how we make money on business creation, so the startups, the spin-offs. And for the bigger projects, by the way, these projects run anywhere from 500,000 to 5 million, and last year we had one of 7.8 million. There we make a contract with the commercializing party. And the big advantage there is that, in a sense, we are a subsidy. So if the project fails, you know, we cannot get any money back. But if the project succeeds, then usually we get money back after a longer period, much longer than any bank or a venture capitalist or anybody would, let's say, be happy with. So we get money back, let's say, once, twice, depending on the risk, or that's an individual contract you make with the project. But that's ballpark figure. Does that answer your question? No, it doesn't. Yeah, we yeah.
The revenue comes from your injection, or if the company.
Well, for the smaller ones, the individual companies, there we take equity, and usually you'll see that they need a second round of investment. But that's not an issue in the sense that we get we have the equity, right? In the bigger projects, it's very clear that it's our money that makes things work, because after that, they are existing companies. They don't invest an extra amount with through venture capital or something. So yeah, it works. We were funded 2011, so a project typically lasts 3 to 5 years, and this year we have the first companies actually paying back. Yeah, but some fail, and then you have to get a little bit more than you actually invested.
This autumn there will be another kick, a food kick.
Yeah.
And Sweden and Denmark and some others are working really hard to get it. I just curious.
You want my help?
I just curious. Do you cooperate with those other kicks like climate kick and the food kick, or just for energy for you?
It's kind of a political question, isn't it?
Of course you help, Frank.
Yes, we help. No, the thing is, Kick InnoEnergy was the first kick that had a business model. We were the first one that said, okay, if we, let's for argument's sake, say invest 1 million, we want a little bit more than that million back because we do projects that fail. The other kicks, for instance, the climate kick, didn't have that, and they, I believe last year or the year before, and if I'm lying, you have to excuse me, but from what I hear is that they are also asked by EIT to have, let's say, a business model. They didn't have that so far. The new ones, I don't know.
But do you cooperate within the topics? I
Yes. But that is because our program is based more or less not to compete with Horizon, with FP7 programs, and the same goes for the other ones. So you have to have some kind of discussions with each other. But it's not the cooperation. I can be very honest about that I'd like to see. That could be much better. But okay, it is what it is. We tried. This kick is the most commercial one. We try actually do things, make things happen, make money. Because if we do that.
One last question over here.
Yeah.
Frank?
Yes, it's very interesting to hear about that you actually have this business model and commercial. But when you provide equity to companies, do you also provide, like some other private equity would provide with the members of the board and things like that to certify that they're going in the right direction?
Yeah.
You do?
Well, we try to do that. Depends a little bit on the. If we can, yes, because what we see is that in the beginning we thought, if we work with these companies for 1 or 2 years, they're fine. To be honest, that's not the case. And 9 times out of 10, you'll see that you actually much longer than you expect need to work with that company to make it successful. And the money is only this part. It's usually after the phase or just shortly before the phase that they enter market, and the phase that after they've entered the market, where you see that they really need your guidance. Because, simple things as taxes or changing European laws or what have you. It's very hard for these companies. They're usually brilliant minds in the sense of technical stuff. But if you ask them to fill out a tax form, they look at you and think, what is this? So yeah, that's where you have to help them. Absolutely.
Great, thank you so much, Frank. I told Frank before that not to take it personal when people didn't ask any questions. That was just a Swedish culture. But I'm so glad you showed that there was some excitement about this. So thank you, Frank. And please catch up with Frank during the break and make sure that you get the most out of your stay here.
I will.
Thank you.
So once more.